thanks for joining me for this video. I'm excited to bring this to you because it comes as the result of a viewer request. Rachel put on my Facebook wall a question about single eyeshadows and what are some good eyeshadows that can just be worn on their own, no other shadows needed, you know, just a standalone product. And I thought that would be so fun to go through my collection and find the things that I feel really work on their own, no other shadows required. I actually compiled 10 different eyeshadows. 6 are drugstore and 4 are high-end that I think you can totally wear just on their own and get a multi-dimensional look out of them. They all kind of share a common quality, and that is that they are sort of a, I would say slightly shimmery or satiny finish, because that really helps it catch the light in different ways. For example, I have one shadow making up this look today, and it's applied in a more concentrated way on the lids to kind of catch the light, and then you can also use it in different ways, shading wise, to kind of make your crease stand out a little bit more, and it's just amazing that one shadow can do that. Another characteristic that these shadows share is that they're all kind of a mid-tone color. In other words, if you think it's too dark to be a highlight and too light to be something that you would line your eyes with, it would probably fit into this category. So if it's got a little bit of shimmer, not too dark, not too light, kind of a medium tone, I want you to look through your collection and see if you have some shades that could do this for you. You don't have to use everything that I recommend. Although these are great shadows, you might have something very similar in your makeup area at home. Also, all of the shadows I mentioned are actual singles. I mean, you could probably go in and find, you know, the third shade over in this CoverGirl palette or whatever is good to use on its own, but just for simplicity's sake, I thought I would recommend shades that were already singles, but keep in mind that you may go through your collection and find within a palette a great shade to use on its own. So all of these shades can be used in the very same method. I will show you that method at the end of this video, but for now, let's start going through what some of the colors are. The first shade I want to talk about is a classic in my collection, and it was actually years ago one of the first shades I realized this could stand on its own, and it is Tapestry Taupe from CoverGirl. This is a great neutral shade. Taupe is one of those shades that whether, let's say you're wearing black tones, a really cool toned outfit, or maybe you're wearing a lot of browns and earth tones, this can work either way. It has some shimmer to it. It really will pop on your lid, but it will also create shadows in your crease when you use it. Another one that I love, and this is often seen as a satin taupe dupe. Tapestry Taupe is also very similar to MAC's Satin Taupe, but it's Nutty. This is just another taupe shade. It really looks similar to the CoverGirl one. I just wanted to give it a mention since it's so popular and I really like it too. But these color icon singles and just shadows that are part of other Wet n Wild kits are very pigmented and very easy to use. Next up, this is a shade from Mally, and this is just a fantastic color. I really think Mally's eyeshadows, while I love like her cream shadow sticks and things like that, her shadows are really great quality and really like well thought out colors. But this is called Mally's Glow, and it came in the 5-piece set that was Get the Look, Get Mally's Look. If you also have the more perfect palette, this shade is in there, but this is a great example of kind of a bronzy brown, because I think that's a hugely wearable shade. I did a video all about bronzy brown eyeshadows because I just love the way they come off on the lids. This is a great example of a shade that even as I hold it here, it catches the light and it looks, you see the golds come out, and then when you start to see shadows, it looks much more brown. So that's kind of the look we're thinking about. Just as you look at certain shadows, look for that characteristic as you see them. Now to the shade I'm wearing now, and again that tutorial is coming in just a couple minutes, but this shade is from NYX and it's called Volcano, and this is a great brown to wear on its own. As you can see in my look, you know, all over the lids, it's catching the light a little bit more. It's a very warm color. So you put this on, I mean, it just screams fall to me because as you blend it out, it has almost, I mean, a warm look to where you're seeing tones of maybe pink in this. I mean, it's just a really interesting shade as you blend blend them out. And as you blend all of these shades out and kind of blend them to nothingness up towards your brow, you're gonna see different tones come out, but this is just gorgeous. If you like a smoky look to your eyes, but just want to try to do it with one shadow, a great one is from MAC, and it's called Night Divine, and this is a great shade that has just the slightest hint of blue to it. Very slight. I mean, probably it could be undetectable on your eye, but as you can see, it has a lot of dimension to it. It can look like more of a traditional silver, or if you know, pack it on a little bit more and really wedge it into your crease, it can look a little bit like a deeper gray. Starting to get into some colors now, and one that I think is awesome is from Milani, and this is a shade called Fusion, and this is a baked shadow, and I have worn this wet and dry. If you wanted to put this all over your lid wet, you would get a pretty kind of lavender look. This is very similar in appearance on the eye to Tracks from MAC. But it's just really pretty, as in that nice golden marbling throughout. And then if you want it to look a little lighter, kind of buff it out all the way up to the brow, you know, it will do that for you if you use a larger brush. This shade from MAC, this is called Star Violet, and this, as you blend it out, it has sort of a pink look to it. So if you're a fan of, you know, light pinks and purples on the eyes, as this is more concentrated, you might see more purples in it, but as it fades out, you might notice more pinks. So it's very beautiful. I love that shade. Now, Mally recently came out with a line of single shadows that are called Effortless Airbrush Shadows, and this is such an unusual formulation. I've been wanting to tell you about it. It's actually a little bit spongy. It has give to it, like I can press my finger down in that and I feel it dip just a little bit. And it's described as being sort of a fusion of a cream, a powder, and a liquid. So it's kind of like all forms of eyeshadow kind of rolled into one, and they're all gorgeous shades that do have that multi-dimensional metallic look to it. You can see it almost looks quilted there in the packaging. But this shade is called Sugarplum, and I think this is a classic example of the look I'm talking about, where it's bright on the lid, and this can actually look really deep if you concentrate it, and it's very buildable. So if you build it up, it can look rather dark. Kind of some new technology going on there. They're a little bit pricey, but I mean, if you wanted to give, you know, a really special gift of a very cool eyeshadow to someone, you know, that might be fun. A couple more fun jewel tone colors that I think will be awesome for the season, and these are a couple of singles from Wet n Wild. This one's called Envy, and this is a gorgeous kind of jungle green, and it's a great mid-tone shade. Again, it's got that little bit of shimmer, little bit of metallic edge to it. I think it's just beautiful, and you know, this can be used in a lot of ways, but it can definitely be used as a standalone color. And another one that I would recommend is Lagoon. And this is a beautiful blue here, and you're going to get an overall brighter look with this type of shade. I don't find this one getting really as deep down and dark. As I said, Sugarplum can have the tendency to look. It's all about kind of the way these are formulated, but this is still very pretty, and I think makes a pretty blue look for your eyes. So now let's talk about the universal method for applying any of those shades that I talked about. I love when it works for everything. So the things you'll need if you want to kind of gather up brushes, you either need a flat eyeshadow brush like that, or a sponge tip. Either or, that's interchangeable. You'll want a fluffy crease brush, about that size, and I also recommend a pencil brush. All of these brushes come from the Sigma Complete Kit, so I use those most often on my eyes, but you can definitely use whatever brushes you like. But to get started, I prime my lids with whatever eyeshadow primer I choose for that day. I really cycle through a lot of them. But then I'm just going to take the sponge tip applicator, and as I said, for this demo, I'm using Volcano from NYX. So you just tap it into the product, and we're going for a concentrated application of color right there on the lids. So that means really pack it on. We're not dusting back and forth. We are patting the shade all over the lid. Then you want to pick up a little more shadow with your kind of rounded crease type brush there, and just pick some up and just go windshield wiper motions back and forth through your crease. So here you're applying a little lighter application of color, but just the nature of the way your crease is, because it's set in just a little bit, you are going to see with these multi-dimensional shadows the fact that that will make the shadow appear deeper. It'll almost look like a totally different color in some cases. You know, you've basically gotten everything cleaned off your brush. Go back and just buff out the edge. And what we want to do now is really totally blend it out to where it looks like it's fading to nothingness. Okay, there's no harsh edge here. You're going to blend it out to where it's fading up to 0 there. And in terms of a highlight, you might think, well, what if I want to use a highlight? Go for it if you want to incorporate another shadow, or when you're going around your face doing your highlighting, I just take a swipe of my face highlighter and go on my brow bone. No big deal. This is kind of optional. You don't have to do this, but if you want kind of a smudgy look and you want to incorporate that color under your eye, a pencil brush is a great way to do that. So you tap it in and then just kind of smudge it then along your lower lash line. And then you can also use that pencil brush if you want even more color wedged right there in the crease and get a different look to it, a deeper look to it. You know, concentrate some more of that color right there in your crease. So then I basically finished off this look with, I took a brown eyeliner on my upper lash line, and I smudged a little brown eyeliner down below, used black on my waterline, mascara, and it was done. So it's a great way to not only sort of conserve your funds if you don't want to invest in a ton of eyeshadows, but you want some that can do everything for you. These are some good recommendations for that. And also, it's a time saver as well. I mean, there are some mornings where, you know, as much as all of us love makeup, there are some times when you just need it done quick and you want to know that it looks good. And knowing that one shadow can do everything can simplify the whole situation. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of review, tutorial, favorites type thing here. Let me know if you've noticed any shadows in your collection that really work well as a standalone shade, because I think it's just a great, simple way to use your shadows. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day.